Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Shut Your Mouth Lounge. It's the usual crew here. It's me, Alex, and we got Addie here,
Hey,
and we got Pink.
Hey!
And it's been a slow fucking news week because we're still kind of recoiling from Comic Con in terms of nerd news. So I've got basically one serious topic and three kind of stupid ones, but one, I don't know, could be interesting. We'll see how it turns out. So I don't know if you guys want to end on the serious one or start with the serious one and just get stupider from there.
That's probably how you should do it.
I'm fine with either.
So the first thing is that there's a new Venom trailer out. And so you remember how the very first Venom trailer came out and there was no Venom in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now they're using the same two shots of Venom.
They now they were really wanting to backpedal it like, hey, guess what? The symbiote is in the movie. Or what's the pronunciation everybody's making fun of the last trailers for? Symbiote. Symbiote. Yeah.
I was about to bring that up.
Oh man, if that's their official pronunciation, some people are gonna lose their shit. I don't really care, but I know some people, grammar Nazis are gonna lose it. But yeah, they're backpedaling super hard with, hey, Venom's in the movie, guys. We were wrong. But I'm worried,
Apparently that Venom title we had, yeah, that's legitimate.
Yeah.
Not just Tom Hardy.
They should have just called it Tom Hardy. I'm worried, though, because there was actually, I think it was like a leak that came out a couple months ago that said there's actually only 2 scenes that Venom is in. And for me, like, could you imagine if they fucking did that and all the scenes we've got of Venom from the trailers are just from 2 scenes?
Well,
I'd believe it.
What we see, I think, actually covers 2 scenes, so I wouldn't doubt it.
How much are we gonna get that's just Eddie Brock somehow using the symbiote powers? Because we seem to see a lot of that in the trailers.
Yep.
Oh,
Well, Eddie Brock will be the new Avatar.
I suppose so. There's also
He will control four different symbiotes at the same time.
Oh, fuck me. They're doing that, aren't they? The stupid Life Foundation storyline.
Yeah.
There's gonna be 6 fucking symbiotes in this movie, isn't there? 7? How many of the Life Foundation symbiotes?
There'll be that many because it's Sony and they have a budget.
Well,
Well, the thing is,
for the life, yeah, go ahead.
the thing is, the ending is no doubt gonna be Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy. But will they even show Carnage, or will we just get Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy?
I don't remember the Life Foundation arc, so wouldn't Carnage have freed the Venom's other kids, or I don't remember how that worked.
I think
The additional 5 different symbiotes that turn into one to defeat Carnage are really freaking hard to understand.
yeah, the Life Foundation symbiotes, Riot, Phage, Scream, what were the other ones? Lasher, right.
Nash, Rash, what is it?
Yeah, just the Battletoads. Fuck it, that'd be better. God. So I feel like there's something really stupid about having a Venom symbiote movie introduced and immediately having him fight just the other symbiotes.
Yeah, I think this should be like a second or third movie,
Yeah,
arc.
yeah, you save the alternative.
Once you
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you keep going. I'm agreeing.
once you introduced Venom, and once you introduced one of Venom's bigger rivals, Carnage, since you probably won't have Spider-Man, then you can bring in the offshoots of Carnage or whatever they were.
Yeah, it's fine having one guy and then having a sort of dark rival. But when you have fucking 7 of them, like the Life Foundation, then it gets like, is Venom even unique anymore? Because apparently there's just dozens of these losers running around.
Well, mid-movie, it will just turn out that instead of an actual Venom movie, it's just Scott Pilgrim playing a game.
There's also something to be said about Tom Hardy's American accent. It's It's something, isn't it?
It's Tom Hardy.
I mean, people make fun of Benedict Cumberbatch for his American accent that he uses, but my God, Tom Hardy, like, I don't know why, but he reminded me a little bit of Tommy Wiseau in parts with some of the line deliveries, you know? What, geez, guys. I got the Venom symbiote. We are Venom. Oh. What?
Yeah, the movie will end with Cletus Cassidy standing in Brock's room, or Eddie's room, freaking words, yeah. But Eddie's with a gun, pointing at the symbiote half, saying, "I did not kill him. It was it. I did not." That would actually make the movie better, because then at least then you would be able to laugh.
I hope this movie isn't a train wreck. But I mean, it's still Sony. There's also something to note here. I don't know, like, I guess it's more important for, like, comic book nerds, but there's also something to note here about the fact that Venom seems to be going crazy with the fucking tendril powers and shit. Because I remember the old days of the comics when Venom had no powers outside of being a Spider-Man clone. And they are going hard in the opposite direction here.
Yeah.
Like, there's an actual part in the little thing we can see there where Venom turns his arms into, like, scythes or something, and that's very much a Carnage thing, not a Venom thing.
I noticed that when I watched the trailer as well.
Like, if they wanted to take away more of what made each symbiote unique, sure, just have them all use the same powers. Carnage doesn't get his stupid shape-shifting weapons. Venom doesn't get his Spider-Man powers. They all just do the same shit.
Yeah. You know... Just since you brought it up, I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a twist where it turns out that the Venom symbiote is actually the same as the Carnage one. Since you know one birthed the other anyway, they're just gonna make it so instead of there being a different symbiote that births from Venom, it's just gonna switch into two and one will turn red.
I wouldn't be shocked either, and I feel like for that part, I feel like if they would just prevent the Venom symbiote from giving birth to Carnage just because they'd think the audience wouldn't be able to handle it. Or because they think the audience would make fun of Venom and call him a mom, you know?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I would you know, think what I would think about watching a C-section on a symbiote.
It can reform at will. Like, why would you need to cut it open? Okay, sure, let's go with that. And can I say one more thing that's just a broad dislike of what they've done with Venom in the last 10 years? I am sick to death of Venom eating people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did that even start?
Well, it started with... It was hinted at a little bit with Eddie Brock when they said, oh, well, the symbiote craves certain chemicals that are in the brain, but it's the same chemical that's in chocolate, so he can just eat chocolate instead. Yeah, that's canon. But then with Mac Gargan and Venom just started fucking eating people at complete random, so it just stuck like that, I guess. And then it got even weirder when Bendis made it so that all the symbiotes are actually good and Venom's the deviant. So it's like, why do they eat people, though, if they're supposed to be good?
Now with the chocolate thing, I'm imagining the dream team of Majin Buu and Venom.
Oh, man, Dragon Ball's stupid. Alright. I mean, like,
even
for me...
outside all the stupid stuff that they're doing with the Venom in this movie, was anyone even remotely sort of excited when they watched the trailer? Or felt anything other than sheer boredom?
I actually like... No, I actually thought... I actually thought the Venom parts looked really cool outside of the stupid threatening to eat the guy's arms and legs and face and leave them rolling down the street like a turd because Sony thought that was clever.
I think that was supposed to be a Terminator reference.
Terminator?
I'm gonna need your clothes and your bicycle or whatever he says. I forgot.
Well, Terminator takes the guy's clothes and car or motorcycle, but he doesn't threaten to take their arms and face off and leave them rolling down the street like a turd.
Well, yeah, but then Venom's supposed to be crazy and wacky, And what do crazy and wacky people do? They carve up people or whatever. I don't know.
But how is it a Terminator reference? Why do you say Terminator reference? Okay, moving on. But yeah, there's something really to be said about how Venom is supposed to be like the anti-hero alternative to Spider-Man. But when they make him eat people, it's just villain. There is no anti-hero to it. It's like this. I hate to go back. There's a couple wells I always go back to when referencing writing tropes I hate. Super 8 is one of them. And Pink knows what I'm talking about because he's also watched the garbage heap that is Super 8.
Indeed.
And Super 8 I'm always reminded of because it turns out the monster had been sitting underneath the town eating random people out of the city the whole time. And we're expected to be sympathetic to it because it had been experimented on by the government. But it had been spending the last, last couple months just sitting under the town eating random innocent civilians. Making your character a cannibal is the automatic way to make your character not sympathetic and a huge villain. And I feel like a lot of writers don't understand that. Cannibalism is one of those lines that, cannibalism or rape and serial killing and genocide, those are the lines that you can't have a character cross. Unless they're the villain, you know?
Just wait until you find out that Peter Parker's favorite hobby is kicking puppies.
What?
Look, the comic book universe, Peter Parker has already sacrificed his unborn child to Satan. At this point, he's got nowhere else to go.
That's true.
Oh, fuck comic books. Ah, Jesus. I feel like...
What kind of upsets me is that the Venom suit is just a big black blob.
Well, they have to go with the stupid fucking Ultimate design because they aren't allowed to have the spider logo.
Oh, that figures.
Damn it. Fuck. Oh, man. I hope this isn't a train wreck, because I am a Venom fan to some degree. But,
I love Venom, but I just don't see how this can't be a train wreck.
I'm with Pink on this one.
Oh, God.
It just seems like something that's destined to fail. And that we will never see Venom again.
Hey, but don't worry, because we'll be getting Black Cat and Silver Sable.
Oh my god, that one's gonna be rough.
We're also getting the human vampire guy, aren't we?
Maybe, we might be getting Morbius, yeah.
Jared Leto.
Oh man, Black Cat is a character that can find fun as a tertiary character to Spider-Man, though she'll always be tainted by the fact that she is just the world's biggest ripoff of Catwoman.
I was about to say.
Silver Sable, actively detracts from every storyline she is in. There is something about that character design that just pisses me off. Also, I just want to note that we still aren't clear on how hard the Venom is set into its own universe or how much is set to the MCU. Because I believe I've brought this up on the podcast before, but there was an interview given with Kevin Feige and the chick who's over Sony, Amanda something or Amy something. And she, in that interview, insisted Venom was part of the MCU, and Kevin Feige immediately shot her a look like, fuck, the fuck you say?
There goes Pink. Okay, never mind.
Why does it always just casually just turn itself off?
Because it fucking hates you.
Yeah. Discord, why?
I think that was Discord's way of saying, okay, move on. You got 15 minutes out of this topic. You can move on. We're comfortable.
You're done now. Keep going.
All right. So did you guys hear this past weekend about the big Monopoly, McDonald's Monopoly rigging story from 2001?
No.
I saw the headline for it. Didn't look further into it.
All right.
I was like, that man's a genius. Give him a raise.
So, Addy, do you know about McDonald's Monopoly? Is that a thing they run in Hungary?
It depends. Is McDonald's monopoly signing what's the word I'm looking for? Friggin' whatever, signing papers so that other fast food establishments, well, big fast food establishments can't have chains in there.
No. Well, you guys do have the board game Monopoly over there, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Monopoly and McDonald's have had a cross promotion going back to the 80s where on your little fry carton or your soda cup, you'd get a little game piece for Monopoly. It's a small little plastic ticket thing. And supposedly if you collect X amount of them, you could get big prizes, and some pieces were supposed to be worth like $1 million. It was supposed to be a big lottery, except, not a lottery. So I'll talk more about that later. But it was a thing going back to the 80s here in the States that, McDonald's, Monopoly, you could win $1 million, whatever, with the little tickets they put on there. And when they introduced it back in the 80s, apparently, like, the guy who was in charge of security and things and making sure that things got handed out properly after they got printed at some other company that wasn't run by neither McDonald's or Monopoly. They delegated it off to somebody, or not delegated, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So apparently, the first ever McDonald's Monopoly winner back in the 80s, they rolled it up, and apparently it was supposed to go to Canada. And the guys in charge of McDonald's were like, okay, we can't give the first winner to a non-American. It has to go to an American. So the McDonald's higher-ups actually tried to rig it immediately to change it to some American. And so the guy that was in charge of handing the little tickets out thought that was fucked up. And, everyone starts off with a justification, So Walter White, he started cooking meth because he thought, oh, well, I'll do this to help my kid, help my family. Well, this guy was like, it's fucked up that they rigged it so it won't go to Canada. So you know what? I can do it better. So this guy, for about 20 years, from like 86 or 85, whenever they started it, to 2001, every single $1 million winner, and like most of the big prizes, like the 250,000 winners or the, Dodge Viper winners, he was giving them out. And he started with like friends, right? But like he started picking up connections. He started picking up people that would distribute the tickets for him to keep keep it moving and keep it, distant from him. Because the guy was actually pretty smart about it. And they'd hide it in little ways. Like, the guy was based out of Jacksonville, but he'd have people move to, like, Pennsylvania or South Carolina and, like, just rent an apartment there for, like, a month or two and cash it in while they're there so that all the winners aren't registered from Jacksonville. Even though they're all from Jacksonville, they're registered as from South Carolina or Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so this guy gets his distributors, and he honestly, like, a guy comes in, like, some guy named Columbo from the fucking Columbo mob family. The actual fucking mafia got involved, and he started distributing them. Like, so some of the other distributors included, like, strip club owners, former cocaine runners, like, crazy shit. And they hooked up the mob guy. And the mob guy I thought was really funny. Like, they got him a ticket because he was running the whole thing. They got him the Dodge Viper one, but the mobster was too fat to actually fit in the Dodge Viper. So he sold it for cash. And yet he still appeared in the commercial anyways. The commercial to say, like, hey, here's your big winner. And you can go watch the commercial on, like, YouTube, and it's, like, included in all the news articles of this fucking mobster winning the McDonald's Monopoly for a Dodge Viper. And, like, it was run as a whole thing. Like, the guy thought he was doing good. Like, at one point, he sent $1 million ticket to, I think, St. Jude's. And they wound up cashing it in later, even after it turned out to be, of course, fraud. Even after it turned out to be fraud, McDonald's paid up anyways, because why wouldn't they? Because you don't want to deal with that publicity shitstorm.
No doubt.
And the guy basically did it in such a way as, hey, I'll get you the $1 million ticket, and then you pay me, like, I don't know, $20,000. He was getting like 20,000 back on nearly every ticket. So everyone in this scenario wound up making a ton of money. And apparently where they fucked up, though, was one of the distributors, the guy set up with a Mormon friend of his and a big Mormon family, because, it's Mormons. And supposedly how it worked was, ordinarily gambling isn't right with Christianity, right? And the Christian sects?
Yeah.
Well, this didn't count as gambling, apparently, according to some Christian groups. So this Mormon guy then was setting up, like, his family members and his friends at the Mormon church. And unlike the other guys, the mobster, the coke runner, the strip club owner, this guy didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and he didn't bother to cover his tracks. Yeah, he hooks up, like, his sister-in-law with it, right? With a ticket. And she goes on the run, because she gets paranoid. And the Mormon and his wife then go track down his sister-in-law and beat the shit out of her and steal the McDonald's ticket back, because, hey, family. Oh my god. And
Lord.
so that's how the FBI was able to figure out, like, okay, something's up here. And they were able to track most of them down. I kid you not, the way they caught most of them was they just said, hey, we want to do a commercial that gathers together all the old McDonald's Monopoly winners for a big celebration. A 20-year celebration or something like that. And they just got most of them to arrive, and they caught most of them that way. Oh, I should mention, this is a story that actually includes a death. Because the mobster, in like 96, got into a car wreck and died. So this is a story that includes a death. Like, it's all kinds of dramatic and shit. Like, this is the new Breaking Bad. This is real life Breaking Bad here.
This is awesome.
So, of course, the movie rights have went up now that the news story is relevant again. Because the thing is, the news story came out in 2001. That was when it was all going down, when the FBI caught the guys. And the big trial date was set for, guess what? September 10th, 2001. So that would have been a huge news story if it wasn't the fucking news story of the millennium followed up immediately the day after.
Yep.
So now it's actually coming around and being relevant again. The movie rights went up, and it looks like Fox may have snatched it up for Ben Affleck to direct and Matt Damon to star as the guy running it.
Yeah. I actually did see that, or not see that. I was at work, and on the TV there was news, and I saw that they had got the rights to that and that they were making their movie and whatnot.
I have to say, this actually sounds like it'd make a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
absolutely.
Like an absurdist, an absurdist comedy crime drama, you know?
Yeah.
Something like Fargo or Pulp Fiction, where there's a comedic element to it because they're fighting over McDonald's monopoly, but it'd still be a crime drama.
I know I'm personally excited to see it one day.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't taken a look at what the main guy actually looks like. He probably looks nothing like Matt Damon, because it's Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. If Ben Affleck signed on for the project, Matt Damon signed on for the project, you know? And hey, Ben Affleck's a good director. Which, did he direct Gone Girl, or was Argo the last big movie he directed?
I wasn't even aware that he directed Argo.
He definitely directed Argo. I think Gone Girl may have been directed by Tyler Perry, though, the same guy that did the Medea movies.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's a good fucking movie, if either of you haven't seen it. Gone Girl, not Argo. I haven't watched Argo. I mean, I have watched Argo. I fell asleep within the first 10 minutes. I am now interested again to watch it, though, because I heard that Jack Kirby is in it. Not the person. I mean, not Jack Kirby as an actor, but one of the actors is playing Jack Kirby, because it's based on the real-life Iran hostage crisis, which Jack Kirby was a major figure in.
Yes.
Because he provided the designs for the fake movie. Which, that is fascinating to me, that Jack Kirby is actually a major individual in such a... Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say too major, but an actual individual in such a historic event.
Yeah. That always really stuck out to me. It's like, yeah, Jack Kirby basically created the Marvel Universe, and in addition to that, he was a part of this big event a big historical event. It's in the history books. He's a part of history. It's like, that's pretty incredible to me.
Oh, I want to see the history books just get steadily stupider, and I want to see that be turned, the Iran hostage crisis be turned into Jack Kirby versus the Ayatollah Khomeini. Excuse me, Khomeini. Right. So the next news article down the line that's even stupider than the McDonald's monopoly mafia war. So the upcoming Christopher Robin movie has been banned in China because Winnie the Pooh is in it.
Right, so here's the explanation. People keep calling the Chinese leader Xi Jinping or Xi Jinping. I think I'm saying that's at least partially correct. Not sure.
I think Xi Jinping is about as close as the American dialect is going to get to that.
But yeah, so Xi Jinping or whatever is made fun of by calling him Winnie the Pooh because he looks like a bear or something, according to the Chinese. And so he banned, among other things, the letter N, I believe, and Winnie the Pooh.
So, all Winnie the Pooh shit is banned in China because
Yes.
Xi Jinping. I love that because I've watched a John Oliver video on Xi Jinping, and over there in China they have the really restricted search engine. They don't have Google; they have something else. Over there, you cannot Google Winnie the Pooh; it will return 0 results. Because over there, for whatever reason, journalists always call Xi Jinping Winnie the Pooh when they're insulting him.
It's become a slur in China.
But I mean, it does contain poo.
I mean, it's also. I think it's more. I think the guy's more insulted by the fact that he looks like a teddy bear, which would be something that a lot of politicians would take as a compliment. So, I mean, fucking Teddy Roosevelt was so fucking. Teddy bears. The teddy bears are named after him, like sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
So,
There was also President Teddy Ruxpin.
Did Teddy Ruxpin come after? I want to say that Teddy Ruxpin came after.
I'm not sure.
I honestly don't know anything about Teddy Ruxpin other than that it is a thing that existed at some point, presumably like in the 40s. And Teddy Roosevelt was president from like around like 1910 or roughly around that time. Before the start of World War I, but just before the start of World War I. Just barely. Right, so I wanted to bring that up just because of how stupid it is that Xi Jinping China's banned this entire fucking movie from showing up. Because could you imagine if Donald Trump banned every movie from the States that features an orange? Or a Cheeto?
It's like, I'm sure he might try one day. He won't get very far, but he'll try.
Instead of banning them, he's just gonna have everything Photoshop. He's just gonna have people Photoshop oranges out of pictures. Imagine the show Orange is the New Black.
And they
A Clockwork Orange.
they Photoshop the oranges to be slightly paler and have bigger hands.
Also with full black hair.
Oh man. I had zero interest in this Christopher Robin movie, but now I gotta voice my support for it, you know?
The only thing I've seen is when people edited it so it looks like a horror film trailer. So that's one. And the other one was when they turned Pooh into cat, or I think is he Captain Grievous?
General Grievous, yeah.
General.
Yeah, General Grievous.
Oh, of course they had to do that, didn't they? And now I've actually seen the trailer because I had to when I went to watch, I want to say Infinity War. They showed that trailer off. And now I'm imagining like General Grievous coming out of the tree there to greet him like, General Kenobi!
Christopher Robin pulls out the lightsaber.
Oh my god, you guys talk about this next subject. I just want to go ahead and mention it. that it's so yeah, Justice League. Moving on immediately because I want to get this topic going so I can look for a dumbass meme I found the other day. So you guys remember the whole thing with Justice League? How Henry Cavill had a big stupid mustache?
Yep.
No, I never watched it.
Right. So there was a whole controversy where they initially filmed Justice League and Henry Cavill was clean shaven because he's Superman and Superman's almost always clean shaven. But then after Zack Snyder's daughter committed suicide, right? Or was it his wife?
Right.
Yes, Joss Whedon took over filming, and Joss Whedon wanted to take Justice League in a different direction. So they had to do reshoots, but Henry Cavill had grown a mustache for Mission Impossible, filming that. And for whatever fucking reason, he refused to shave the mustache, so he redid all the Superman scenes with a mustache. The CG team had to go back and undo the mustache, and it just looks horribly freakish. The CG mouth that Superman has in that movie. Because they had to cover up the fucking mustache.
I'm imagining like what was it? Was it in Courage the Cowardly Dog or whatever, where they had a static image with a moving mouth, a moving human mouth.
That is exactly it. That is pretty much exactly what happened. I didn't think it was as rough as a lot of people did, but if you take like still frames from that movie, it looks bad. In motion, it's a little bit harder to tell because Superman's usually moving pretty fast in that movie. When you take a still shot, oh my god. So, the thing is, apparently the Mission Impossible director was like, okay, if DC or Warner Brothers is willing to shell out $3 million, then we will stop filming long enough for Henry Cavill to shave the mustache, go in, and record those scenes. And we'll give him time to, let the mustache grow back for him to come back for Mission Impossible. And apparently Paramount then came down the pipe and said, what the fuck? So apparently it actually came close to being a thing. But Paramount put a stop to it, and now people are getting into an argument about now saying it's like a studio petty war or something like that. It's like $3 million to stop shooting for like a couple weeks. Wouldn't that have been actually pretty nice? I don't know a whole lot about the money, but I don't know. You guys keep talking about that. I need to find something stupid I saw the other day.
So, honestly, if I can be completely blunt here, I think they should have just reshot the entirety of Justice League and just had Henry Cavill with the beard. It would have looked so much better.
I think they should have.
Needs is a bearded Superman.
I think what they should have done is pay $5 million and then make the two projects intertwined or whatever the word is. So we're just so like in the middle of Mission Impossible, Batman shows up because why not? And then turns out that whoever freaking was his face, Henry Cavill, Henry Cavill. Whoever he plays just rips his shirt and Superman's clothes are under there.
Yeah, perfect. That the plot of both movies will be taking place at the same time.
Yeah.
So while Justice League is happening at the same time across the world, you've got another Superman character doing his Fallout thing. Oh, that could be great.
And the radiation poisoning and the Brotherhood of Steel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've honestly never seen the Mission Impossible movie.
I haven't either. But you know what dawned on me? In the actual fucking death and resurrection of Superman comics, didn't Superman come back with a beard?
I want to say yes.
Right, so that just makes it worse. Oh, Jesus. Oh, well, that didn't work. It's just as well, because it's just a little clip. But, you know what? The description of the video is just going to be a link to that clip. Because I'm not going to put the whole fucking video in there, but at the same time, I gotta do this.
Why did he do a Psycho Crusher?
Have you ever watched Revenge of the Sith?
No.
Because he does a fucking Psycho Crusher in Revenge of the Sith.
Wow.
And it's the most out of place thing in the best possible way.
We need more fighting game moves in action movies.
Again, you've not watched Thor Ragnarok. The best moment in the entire movie is when Thor does a Psycho Crusher. Because he literally just does a Psycho Crusher and kills like 10 dudes with it.
Right, I'm looking forward to Venom turning his leg into a scythe and then doing a genocide cutter.
I was imagining Blanca balls for Venom.
Like spiky Blanca balls, yeah.
No, Venom, not the head bite.
Friggin' Doctor Strange just does Air Max fatality from MKX.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know which one you're talking about, but both of Air Max fatalities in MKX were really fucking gruesome. I am not a queasy person, but some of MKX's fatalities made me uncomfortable. Oh, jeez. So, we've managed to get a solid 30 minutes out of the non-existent news topics of today, which I'd say is better than I was expecting. So, oh, hey, there was something I forgot. And this is just a stupid little picture, but I want to get it anyways, because it's just too good. So, let me go.
One other thing. In the next, or in the other part of freaking, bloody Avengers Infinity War, in part 2, just Iron Man will bust out of friggin' Infinite from MVC2.
Yeah, the big stupid Iron Man Infinite from MV. What, didn't that Infinite actually stay from Marvel vs. Capcom 3?
I wouldn't know.
Is that his, proton cannon?
No.
There was a combo?
He had
It's a combo.
He had a combo that could go on for as long as you wanted it to, because it comboed into itself. So there's that. And oh man. So anyways, let's move on to the new part of the show that we wanted to start doing. So we're going to go ahead and go over a little bit of what's going to be coming out this coming week. So I'll just say on my end, we're definitely going to be dropping more Forest episodes from me and Pink. So
yes.
Yeah, we've got, what have we got? We've probably got 3 or 2 episodes left of just backlogs, but me and Pink are probably going to go ahead and record a couple more hours, I don't know, tomorrow. But yeah, we got some good stuff coming in. And it's going to be, it's going to get rough from here. Like, I'm already having a rough time, but oh my god, like, the stuff that has happened off recording now that Pink hasn't been able to see, like, everything's gone. Like, the fucking, little did we know, the shit we saw in the videos that we've already recorded, Pink, was just the calm before the storm. Shit has went real sideways. So yeah, tune in for that, because that's going to be some fun. And on Addie's side, what you got coming down the pipe, Addie?
Right, so today, which is Saturday the 4th.
Which is probably go up tomorrow morning, Sunday.
No, it's actually, I'm gonna release it after we stop recording this stuff, because it's already up.
Alright.
But yeah, so after the recording is done, you will see, this is just for time frame, you will see Virtua Fighter 5, where I beat everyone.
Addy goes 83-0.
Yeah.
I
Fucking
didn't
John
expect that.
Wick over here, like, breaking necks, cashing checks, whatever that saying goes.
And the thing is, Pink is a freaking fortune teller. Because in the end, he says, tune in next time and I think we'll do the same. Guess what? On Monday, you will see.
Yeah, I was figuring, like, oh, hey, it's a game I might actually have a chance in. No. Fuck no.
So yeah, Monday, I'm gonna release Tekken 7. And that's gonna be a thing. I'm gonna drop something. Watch out for the Heihachi mirror match.
Oh, that one is the one I can't wait to see, just because of how we handled the intro. Because like either that's gonna be great or we blew the fucking mics out. I can't tell which.
We blew the mics out.
All right, that's what I was hoping for.
So I actually had to
Lower the audio.
put my own audio down by. Yeah, I had to lower my audio by 10 decibels. Like, yours was relatively fine. Mine wasn't. But yeah. Other than that, hopefully I will be able to freaking edit Terraria. That should come out sometime.
Yeah,
Nice.
I've
I've been waiting a long time for that because I don't think we've seen Pablo yet.
We haven't, not yet.
Pablo has not
We
arrived.
also haven't seen. We also haven't seen the defense deck.
Oh.
Right, for my part, I want to get those up and going because we're actually like roughly to the halfway point of Terraria, but I think from this point we can kind of rush it a little bit and we're close to getting to the end.
But yeah, that, and then I'm also probably gonna work on the second part of the Dead Space couchless co-op,
All right.
because that has actually been recorded. Though I'm still not sure about the editing part, because on one hand I could cut it into parts, or edit them down to 20 minutes, but then last time I did that, you said not to. So
I think the couchless co-ops would be a bit more raw, but that's what I feel.
well, yeah, but the last episode that I did was the last Dead Space episode was on an hour and 14 minutes.
Well, you can cut it in half.
I think the raw footage would work, but you probably should cut them down to 20 minutes. Like, don't upload the entire session in one video. Spread it out through multiple videos.
That's what I've been doing for the forest. Yeah, I cut them down to videos ranging between 20 and 30 minutes, and I just upload them in parts. And the fucking Discord just deleted whatever I said. So yeah, I cut forest into 20 to 30 minute parts and uploaded over the course of several weeks. Because that's actually a lot easier, both on the recording schedule and on the audience.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it.
You upload an hour-long video and the audience sees that and they're like, oh, I don't know if I want to commit.
Yep. That's how it works. It's like, if I see an hour-long video, I'm like, no, I'm not going to click it. But boy, oh boy, will I watch 65-minute videos.
You'll watch 5-minute videos 60 times, not 65-minute videos. That's over an hour.
No,
I think.
Pinkman that he will watch 65-minute videos, so an hour and 5 minutes.
If it's 60 minutes, no, but 65 minutes, yeah, sign me up.
Perfect. This fits perfectly into my OCD. Otherwise, I just start freaking out, man. I'll launch you out of my chair. Right, so that's what we got coming out this coming week. That's good to know. So let's go ahead and move on to what we've done in the past week. So for my part, I've done a lot. So I've finished Luke Cage Season 2, and woof. Up until the ending, I was like, yeah, this is damn good. Like, it still runs in the same Marvel Netflix issue of they end the conflict too early. Like, episode 10, the conflict ends. And then the series just keeps going for another 3 episodes for some reason. But
That figures.
it does the fucking weirdest thing, in that it looks like the remaining 3 episodes are there to set up Season 3 storyline, right? No, they super aren't. Like, it has its own little mini arc and then ends on its own as well. So, you get 10 episodes of one arc and then 3 episodes of another arc, and they kill off a character that, like, you totally would not expect. So, obviously not Luke. They didn't kill off Luke, but everyone else is off limits.
I thought you were going to say, but everyone else is dead.
Yeah, everyone else is dead. It's an Infinity War tie-in.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I wanted it to end like Ant-Man. I wanted it to look like Luke had won, and then just fucking Rosario Dawson turns into dust. Which is good, because I can't stand Rosario Dawson's character.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with Rosario Dawson, but Claire Temple is the most bland-ass character.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Thankfully...
She wore out her welcome multiple seasons ago.
Yeah. I was fine with her in Daredevil, but she should have stayed as a Daredevil character. She shouldn't be infecting every series.
On one hand, it's cool to have a side civilian character who intertwines with all of this not episodes, all of the characters that are based in New York, because that gives it that small city feeling. At the other time, Claire's just a very terrible character.
And it never
I'm
feels
not
like...
sure how to articulate that to a better point. Claire's not an entertaining character. She's not somebody that I want to watch on my television.
I feel like it also should be noted, there's never any explanation for why Claire keeps running into these superhumans.
No.
Like, why is it her? Like, it'd make more sense if it was someone like Stick who would be deliberately seeking them out, you know? Or I don't...
Claire just has bad luck.
Or like Foggy makes more sense, because Foggy, like, will probably be, you know, the lawyer of the superheroes.
Yeah. That's how he met Luke.
Yeah. And he does return for season 2 as Luke's attorney again.
Nice. Even more reason to watch season 2.
Well, they do a goofy little dumb bit of, you know, stupid white people. where Luke drags him along to a party and Foggy just kind of makes a little bit of an ass of himself.
Of course he does.
I mean, it's still Foggy, so...
Yeah.
He could show up in Daredevil and it'd still be like stupid white people. So... But thankfully Claire gets written off, like, by episode 4, thank God.
Nice.
And other than that, Danny shows up at, like, episode 10, and, like, holy shit, I think they actually may have figured out that Danny is awful and are trying to turn him around.
I should hope so.
For one thing, I think they may have actually convinced Finn, what's his name, Finn Jones?
I believe that is correct.
I think they actually convinced Finn Jones to show up for some acting classes and martial arts classes. Because now he isn't a piece of cardboard that is ambiguously slapping people. Now he does some actual decent-looking martial arts moves. The fight scenes don't look like shit. And
Nice.
he actually... I still wouldn't say he's properly Danny Rand, but he's a hell of a lot closer. Because he isn't just every episode of course, you know, Iron Fist, Immortal Protector of Kunlun, or whatever. And he has some actual fun and some jokes. And most of all, he isn't just spewing out random weird, you know, the fortune cookie sayings. He isn't spewing those out constantly anymore. He gets 2 or 3 in his episode, but other than that, he doesn't spew them out like so badly as he used to. Where every fucking episode in the old series would be like, shut the fuck up, Danny. Nothing you say actually contributes. We know who to go to for platitudes, Danny. Don't worry about that. So, that's good. Bushmaster is still a damn good villain. The casting on him is perfect, because I could not picture anyone else playing Bushmaster in the way this guy plays Bushmaster. Mariah is still good. She's annoying and you hate her, but it's because of how she's doing such a good job at being a hateable villain, you know? Because she keeps getting away with shit, and you're like, fuck. The other thing I want to say, like, it's all around a great season until the last episode. Because they make one of the strangest decisions I've seen. And I don't want to spoil it in case Pink is going to watch, but, like, whew, I don't know why they did that. Because it seems like a violation of not only, like, Luke as a character, but the entire foundation of the series, like, even conceptually. Like, I'm glad to see Luke as a character moving forwards, but what they did, oh boy.
New York gets snapped out of existence. Like the people still live. The city is gone. It's just water now.
Where will they get their coffee?
Oh, the coffee gag returns. We don't actually get to see the coffee, thank God, because the Netflix series were kind of bad about the egregious sex scenes. But like, yeah, the coffee gag returns. Other than
Oh, I was a bit confused when you were talking about coffee gag. I was like, what? What is he talking about?
Hot
Is that a
coffee.
thing?
yeah, Addie, you're more correct than you understand. It's a running gag in Luke Cage that coffee is their euphemism for sex. And it comes up a few times, yeah. And it's a weird thing where it's a series that at no point does it ever refer to coffee by coffee. At no point does it refer to actual coffee at all. If any character mentions the word coffee, he's talking about sex, or she's talking about sex. And
Instead, the word coffee has been replaced by Starbucks. Not sponsored.
I guess so.
yeah, basically, hey, welcome to the
That's
modern
how
day.
the world works now.
Yeah. And if a female character mentions coffee, then it's guaranteed to be coffee with Luke. I find that funny that it's still one of Luke's defining traits is women just want him. And it's
I nearly made a really bad joke.
I'm sure you could. That
Okay. How much do you want to cut this part out?
I'm gonna make a timestamp just in case.
Right. So I guess you could say that they like their coffee black.
That's not bad at all. The show makes worse jokes than that. Because the show certainly has its share of dark humor. But other than, oh man, I'm still gonna watch season 3, and hopefully season 3 turns it around a little bit. But oh my god, yeah, ooh, that is a questionable writing decision. Let's see. Other than that, I watched Thor Ragnarok again this week. There are parts of it that have not aged well already.
Believe me, I knew when I watched Thor Ragnarok for a second time as well.
I'm still not a fan of most of the Sakaar segments. Like, there's one Sakaar gag that I always really liked. I still like the stupid Korg thing. My god, the hammer pulled you off? I still like that one. It sounds like you had a very special relationship with this hammer. And of course, Thor stumbling over his own feet, trying to talk with Valkyrie about the Valkyries. That part was pretty good. But damn, that final fight scene is still the fucking best. On repeat viewings though, it is really egregious, like how out of place the scene is of Hulk attacking Surtur. Cause it's just like, why did they put that in? It's not funny. It's not funny. But at the same time, doesn't really contribute anything to the story, and it kind of takes away from the dramatic sense of, like, completion of seeing Asgard destroyed, you know?
Yeah. It's just this random gag in there thrown in for no real reason other than maybe to get a pop out of the audience viewing it for the first time in theaters. But after that, it doesn't serve a purpose. It's really annoying because it detracts so much from it, in my opinion.
Like, I think there was a good chance they just put it in so that they could get the trailer shot of Hulk jumping at Surtur.
Oh, yeah.
But they could have thrown that in the trailer anyways. Because Marvel's already displayed that they have no problem with lying in the trailers to hide spoilers. Like, remember the Infinity War trailer where it showed Hulk in Wakanda? And that totally isn't in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I mean, even if people were going to say, like, oh, well, they put a scene of Hulk fighting Surtur in the trailer, it would be I would want Hulk fighting Surtur, and I'd feel lied to. Like, you didn't get Hulk fighting Surtur. Like, you've already been lied to. There was no good Hulk versus Surtur fight. Me and you are going to have to show Addie the fight scene from the Bifrost fight scene from Ragnarok after this podcast is done, because, like, I've referenced the Thor Psycho Crusher several times. Addie needs to see it in action. Let's see, what else did I do? I feel like I watched a movie, but I don't remember it. Oh, I started watching Netflix's Toys That Made Us documentary series, which is just a little...
Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix, yeah.
You connect to the internet and just watch, like,
Birds.
ducks migrating to Africa.
Ducks migrating to Africa, holy shit.
Or whatever.
Some quality content right there.
They must have powerful wings to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. Unless they're English ducks, I guess. Or is that where the ducks fly to in Europe? Because over here, ducks...
No idea.
Ducks fly to Florida over here. Do they just fly to fucking Africa in Europe?
I actually don't know. I just... I just thought of a place that's warmer than this place.
Oh, Jesus. So yeah, the Toys That Made Us documentary series that's on, well, it's about the toys of the 80s and basically moving forwards. Generally pretty interesting, but the part I find funny is how many of them, like, got started with, oh, hey, we were stuck for time, so we just renamed this other toy and changed the paint a little bit and put a new sticker on it. Like Star Wars, they started to work on the toy line so late. Like, the toy line for the original Star Wars, the original Kenner toys, little 3 3/4 inch figures that everybody loved back in the day, that our parents probably grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
Those toy lines didn't come out until like a year after the movie because they started so late on them. So initially, Kenner just like, they took one of their games. It was like, hey, shoot at stars, and they ripped the sticker off and replaced it with a big sticker of the Death Star. The Star Trek one was a particularly funny one because apparently the Star Trek toy lines for years were just a clusterfuck. So one of them was a a space helmet that they had reappropriated from another toy line. And I've never watched Star Trek, but apparently nobody in Star Trek wears helmets. So
I think I watched like 3 episodes of New Generation or something.
I might have seen an episode of New Generation, like, in passing. I feel like I remember seeing Patrick Stewart walking through a brick wall or something.
The only thing I remember is that Data was the most tolerable.
Wasn't he the robot that, like, got laid in every episode or something? That's what he's known for?
Something like that, I don't know.
At some point, one of us should probably watch Star Trek just for completeness sake on the podcast. So yeah, apparently that was pretty bad. That, for me, looking from the outside in, it's like nobody in Star Trek wears a helmet. But I guess, yeah, nobody in Star Trek wears a helmet, which then made it really stupid that they were selling toy helmets for Star Trek. Let's see. For video games, I didn't put a whole lot in. I tried to start a new game plus of Persona 5. I'll probably continue that eventually, but like at the time I was like, oh shit, right. I spent 100 and something hours on my original playthrough Persona 5. Do I really want to commit for a new game plus? Because that's a good fucking game, but at the same time, whoo! Oh man. And
That's a lot of hours.
yeah, welcome to Japanese RPGs. You ever seen that one Final Fantasy boss from like 12? There's a boss in Final Fantasy 12 that takes a full hour to beat because its health bar is too big.
You need 2 screens to fit it on there.
Yeah. That's why people set up those 3 monitor setups on their computers so they can get the full health screen for that one Final Fantasy boss.
In the next one, once they return to their roots, there will be one that will take a whole day to just transform from phase 1 to phase 2.
And he's got the full Japanese Sailor Moon transformation.
Yeah, but instead of it magically appearing, he is just obscured by light, and then we see the shadow just putting on shoes and stuff for a full day.
And people would pay money for it. So yeah, that happened. And the last thing is I've been I do want to mention just a little stupid shitty thing I did. I tried my hand at modding. And immediately
How'd that go?
I tried my hand at modding Total War Warhammer 2, partially just to say I could, and partially so that I could edit other people's mods, because, the thing about downloading mods for a video game is, everybody has their slight preferences, and unlike video game development, where you have to try to please everybody, mods, you don't really have to. So there's all kinds of mods I think are cool, but they have slight elements that piss me off. So I wanted to figure out how to change that. I got in there, I took one look at it, I was confused beyond belief, got one error from a little bit of code, and I was like, okay, fuck this. So thank your local coders, because Lord knows how many errors they have to deal with every day.
I mean, shit, I tried coding at one point. I mean, it was on the forum, so Ethan tried teaching me, and you know, when you don't understand a basic freaking like I think the thing he told me to do was like display your age with a delay or something like that. If you can't understand the code required for that, I don't think you're cut out for coding, which means that I'm not.
Yeah, it's notable that Ethan is the Ethan is the local guy whose job is coding. Ethan is also the one guy on the FOS with the patience of a saint. So I wonder what that's from, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, and continuing the build up to Devil May Cry 5's big release next year, I've started playing Darksiders. I thought I could get it done in a week because I thought, it's a game from 2008 or like 2009, sometime around then. And all the games back then, all the AAA games back then lasted around 8 hours,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got in there, and I am currently sitting at a grand 19 hours, and it is still going. And I'm just like, whoops, I fucked up. So,
Yeah, once you reach 2, if I actually decide to join you this time.
Yeah, you fucking coward. You backed out, you coward.
Yeah. I got stuck.
It's an interesting game, that's for sure.
Yeah, but anyway. So with 2, as I told you before, there's like 4 different worlds that you need to visit. So
And the thing is, on PS Plus and the Xbox Game Pass, so the versions that we have, it's the Definitive Edition, which means it comes with all the DLC, so it's even fucking longer.
the DLC can be done in a day max. I think I went through all of the DLC in a day.
All right, that's good to hear. But like, I've never finished Darksiders 2. I got to like the World Tree on my first playthrough. I got to the Colossus and stopped there. On my second playthrough, I got to like the World Tree and stopped. So this is gonna be my first time actually finishing Darksiders 2. But
after the World Tree, there's like 3 or 4 other worlds.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna be spending the upcoming week playing that. I'll probably spend today trying to chug out the ending of Darksiders 1. I'll probably talk about the ending separately on next week's podcast, because I wasn't able to get it done for this morning, because I underestimated how much fucking time that game would take. I will say that so far, like, I want to say I'm 2/3 of the way through the game. Because there's technically supposed to be 5 sections, but apparently the 5th section takes up an entire third of the game, so it's like, whew! Oh, man. And it's interesting. You can very much tell where, like, it takes a little bit from Devil May Cry, a little bit from God of War. The combo meter is a bit more in style of God of War. Like, I haven't played any of the God of War games in a while, but they don't do the style meter the same way that Devil May Cry does, right? It's more
I
like
don't think so.
you just build up combo hits to get to a certain number, whereas Devil May Cry actually gives you a rating from D to S.
Yeah.
Which I prefer the Devil May Cry system, but the God of War system also works. And it takes things like that, and there's also chests that you find around the environment that give you health or money or, super meter, which is very much also a God of War thing. And the most God of War-ass thing in Darksiders is the fact that War, the Horseman of War that you play as...
It's Kratos.
Yeah, he's Kratos, but worse. But he opens the chests by punching them, which is the most fucking Kratos-ass thing.
I mean, shit, in 2, Death just spawns 2, like, power hands or whatever, and those crush it for him.
Yes, I definitely remember that. But the thing I want to note here is, like, War as a character annoys the shit out of me. Because Kratos could be a fucking asshole when he felt like it, But by the time of 3 and 4, they made it perfectly clear that Kratos is supposed to be an asshole and you are not supposed to like him for it, right? Like, there was a certain line that was crossed around the time of God of War 2, where Kratos went from kind of vaguely sympathetic, but still an asshole, to, oh yeah, Kratos is just straight up the villain of this story at this point. And Darksiders 2, Death is also kind of a huge asshole, though he's a little bit smarter about it, and he's a little bit more pragmatic. But at the same time, the story generally makes it out very clearly that Darksiders 2, like, that Death is supposed to be an asshole, you know? At no point in Darksiders 2 does it feel like we should be agreeing with Death for his tendency to threaten innocence. Like, I remember in Darksiders 2, when you go immediately to the Village of the Giants, and you remember this part also, no doubt, Addy, how Death immediately starts threatening to kill all the Giants for the slightest inconveniences, and all the Giants are like, dude, calm down.
Yeah, I think I liked about Darksiders 2 is that actually, well, kind of, grows during the game.
Yes, War does no such thing. Throughout the whole of Darksiders 1, War is threatening to kill every single person he meets. Regardless, like, there are some characters that are nothing but help to War, and War still wants to kill them, still threatens to kill them for pretty much nothing. And where Death, it's like, wow, Death is an asshole. With War, it's very much made out to be, wow, look at War, isn't he cool? Because it was 2008, and we thought that brutality and being a bullying asshole was cool, I guess. And the whole punching the chests to open them feels like unnecessarily aggressive. Several of the puzzles are finished by just punching something into place. And it's like, oh man, I forgot that we were like this in gaming for a little bit. That little era of everything had to be aggressive, everything had to be turbo, whatever, masculine or something. I don't even want to say
And
masculine.
you still like Gears of War.
Yeah. What? Did you say?
I said, and you still like Gears of War.
I don't think. I think Gears of War wasn't even that bad about it. Well, Gears of War.
I'd say it was close.
I don't know.
Not as bad, but close.
I don't know. The worst thing about Gears of War was the Lancer chainsaw felt unnecessarily violent for a melee weapon, because it's like, you could have just stabbed the guy or blunted him over the head with the gun, but no, you got a chainsaw out, okay. But other than that, I never felt Gears of War was particularly bad. I mean, like, Marcus is, you know, big Mr. Manly Man, and he yells out, and he's got the gravelly voice and everything, and he kind of is lacking for emotions, but it never feels like he's an outright asshole. And several of the characters he's downright nice to, like Dom. Gears of War is also a little bit different because in 3 they started introducing female main characters, and that kind of naturally tends to bring it down. Especially amongst that kind of writer. Oh man, it's going to be interesting having Darksiders 3 with Fury as the lead.
Yeah.
Because is she going to act in the same way War and Death do? Or are they going to tone her down because she's a chick?
I hope that somehow they can make a deal with Namco and give her like an Ivy costume.
The thing is, if they keep Darksiders 2's customization system where you can customize Death's look, you know they'll have to give a costume that's like eerily similar to Ivy. Not even for really bad stripper costumes, but you know, one of the more reasonable ones.
Yeah, like the Morning Widow one. That's still basically just a stripper costume thinking about it, but yeah.
Oh man, Ivy had the one costume in Soul Calibur 2, the one Imperial Navy costume, and that was her best costume, and she's just gone down from there horribly. Because she actually,
I can't believe they never brought the Imperial one back. That one was freaking badass.
And it worked because she's Cervantes' daughter.
Yeah, it's like there's a cool look to it, and there's a history there. Why did they put her in like a dress thing in the third one?
Because naked female bodies and Japan.
Massive, unfeasibly large boobs. Ah, Jesus. So then with Darksiders, like, the character design is, Darksiders 2 did a way better job with character design. There are still some characters I like. Samuel looks cool. Some of the angels look fine, but War, like, Addy, you've seen War's character design, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, I think the reason why I didn't want to buy Darksiders at first is that because both War and Death to me looked like they were squished.
Death's a little bit better because he's got his whole weird thing going on where he's simultaneously muscular and anorexic at the same time.
Yeah, and he's also bent over, so you know.
Yeah, I
Like
think
he can look squished because it actually makes sense since he's not never standing straight.
he's hunched over because he's a huge creep.
Yeah. But with War is standing straight. War looks like they messed his model up.
What? Yeah.
And he also has a really bad case of the anime swords, but
Oh my god,
you know,
the gigantic penis sword is strong with this one.
yeah.
So yeah, War's character design, like he looks like a World of Warcraft character, with his shoulder pads being bigger than his head. And of course, it lends that classic World of Warcraft awful design prospect of he's wider than he is tall at some angles. Like, you look like a fucking asshole, War. Change into something else. And of course, if you close in on his face, he's got a hood over it, and he's got a hood over his head that protects his eyes, and he's
And
got
doesn't he have like what's the word I'm looking for? Freaking I don't know, whatever. Doesn't he have like blue eyes and white hair, or not white, blonde hair?
white hair. Yeah, I think you're actually right there. He might have yellow eyes. I'm not for sure. But yeah, he's got firm, like, weird edgelord design that, like, an edgelord's idea of an angel, basically, is what he looks like facially. Which does not mix well with the ridiculous, overly armored, muscular man that the design otherwise goes with.
Also, the blue eyes, blonde hair doesn't really work out in his favor.
No, it doesn't. It never does. But the thing I want to say here is, though, it just now dawned on me. Darksiders type characters are over designed in this. Darksiders characters or World of Warcraft characters are the Western equivalents to weirdo Japan designs, like Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts characters.
Yeah.
You know, with the 1,000 belts? Japan has their 1,000 belts, the West has their massive shoulder pads.
So I'm looking forward to Plague or whatever the last horseman is having shoulder pads held on with gigantic ass belts and like 50 of them.
That's his weapon.
Yeah, he just gets one off of his shoulder and then beats you with it.
Ah, God. There's also something to be said here that, like, has dawned on me in the past couple of days. So, Devil May Cry 4 introduced the playable character of Nero. Devil May Cry had always followed Dante. Dante had a fairly large sword. I wouldn't say it's almost, like, it's not Buster Sword large, but it's still pretty large. You know, larger than real life great swords or broadswords, so it's still unrealistic.
Not just Sephiroth's penis sword.
Yeah. Not as bad as the Buster Sword, not as bad as Sephiroth's mile-long katana. But the thing about Dante carrying that sword was, Dante always used it two-handed. Where most anime heroes use it one-handed, Dante used it two-handed, and always looked like he was actually at least trying to control it. And when they introduced Nero as the new playable character in 4, he was supposed to be young and stupid and not really knowing what he's doing. So he has a sword that's similarly sized to Dante's, but he swings it one-handed. And so he tends to swing wide a little bit and swing wild. And that was their way of showing that Nero is bad at this and doesn't know what he's doing. And it should be noted here, Darksiders 1, War has an even bigger sword and is swinging it one-handed. So I wonder what that says. And the more important one that dawned on me that I should have said last week, Dante in the reboot swings his sword one-handed. So in case you needed more reminder that Team Ninja just did not understand the original series and some of the basic design principles went over their head, there's a little bit of that. And in terms of gameplay, I'd say it's an alright character action game, not great. There are some questionable decisions regarding controls. Prominently the fact that you've got a dash, right? He's got a little dodge dash thing, which is not got great range, and it's a terrible form of transportation because he stops at the end, which is good because, you know, as I've mentioned before, I hate games where the dodge or the dash is the best way of travel. But the thing is, his equivalent of the stinger being, you know, your classic character action move that moves you in closer to the opponent, right? It's the little dash attack.
Yeah.
In that game, it's an actual dash attack where you have to press your attack button at the same time that you dash and he'll do it. This almost seems, to make sense, except it doesn't. Because, firstly, there are some times where you want to combo a dash into an attack, or cancel an attack into a dash, or vice versa, right? Well, now you can't do that, because he's going to just dash attack instead. And the other issue is, they gave a little bit too much, there's a little bit of lag room that is given with the moves that you're supposed to press 2 buttons at once to do, right? Because some people aren't great at doing that. Their reflexes aren't good enough. So they give a little bit of lag room. That's understandable. They gave too much lag room. So if you press the attack button at any time, like within the second or two following a dash, then your character does the dash attack anyways. So there's several times where you will accidentally do the dash attack when you did not mean to, which is really bad because it's probably the most unsafe move in the game because War has like 1 million recovery frames on it. So there's several times you're going to get your ass kicked because of that. And the other thing I want to know is, for some reason, the game handles things like... This is something that, I think Addy's probably going to understand because he's probably played games that have done a similar thing. But there's a thing where if your character's in the middle of performing an action, if your character's in the middle of doing a attack, or opening a door, or doing a grapple, or whatever, the game, no matter what, regardless of what position you're moving the left stick in, will consider the left stick to be neutral. So this means that if you input an attack while you're currently in the middle of this animation, then regardless of what direction you're moving the left stick, the neutral version will come out instead. Which makes setting up the next attack in the combo a absolute pain in the ass sometimes. You ever run into that, Addy?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's in full force here. So that can be awkward. Like, if you want to set up a stinger type attack after whatever you're doing, instead he'll do something else. There's also something to be said about how, for some reason, they kind of seem a little bit stuck in the middle regarding War's moveset. Because War's personality can roughly be summed up as serious, aggressive, asshole, right? So, they set up most of the moves as that. But then, for some of them, they wanted to have a little bit of fun, and they just look weird seeing War do them. Because there is one move that is just a baseball home run. And you're seeing this otherwise dead serious, half angel, half demon guy in the middle of his serious combo where he's trying to murder people. Suddenly just do a baseball home run with the mannerisms and everything. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, what about Dante?
Yeah. Well, when you make a character action game, sometimes you want to have the dumb fun moves like that. Because Dante has dumb fun moves like that. Bayonetta has dumb fun moves like that.
I mean because of the half angel, half demon thing.
That is only part of the reboot. That is only reboot canon. In the main universe, Dante is half human, half demon.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think angels ever appear in the original canon. There's demons pretending to be angels, but there are no actual angels. So, yeah, Darksiders 1 is a little bit rough in parts. The other thing to note there is, you brought up that it was Zelda-like, and I got worried, oh shit, am I misremembering Darksiders? Is Darksiders Zelda and not, God of War or Devil May Cry like? I started up and immediately did a stinger and a high time, so that my fears about that were assuaged, but yeah, it's definitely got some Zelda-like principles going on here. In terms of, your big dumb meathead character that just kills people for a living. The God of War has the same weird thing, where you have to stop killing people for a little bit to do a puzzle. And for meatheads like War, I always like to imagine him just breaking puzzles and moving on through, it no work.
Yeah.
Me not stop killing. Okay. So that, I don't know. It's an okay game. It's a fucking long game for what it's worth. I would say that by skipping it and going straight to Darksiders 2, you aren't really missing anything other than, getting an insight into the way War plays and fights. Because it is a major element of the story going on in the later Darksiders series. War's, guilt is being framed. Because I've started Darksiders 2, so I've already been spoiled on the fact that no matter what, War is not going to prove his innocence by the end of this game's story. So,
Yeah.
other than that, though, like, gameplay-wise, you absolutely are not missing anything.
Yeah, with two going back to repetition and puzzles and stuff. You do have some puzzles, but the game actually mixes them up because, you know, you have your move this thing to the other side of the room puzzle. You have your portal gun puzzle of all things, because there's a portal gun in the game.
Oh,
And then, yeah, things like that. And then I think there's a puzzle where you need to split your soul into two so that you can move shit around. Things like that.
yeah, that's a Darksidersism if I've ever heard one. I've heard it called the, it was a term I liked the other day, a gumbo game. A game where you mix little bits and pieces of everything you like and try to make something that mixes all of them together. And Darksiders definitely has a lot of that gumbo-ness going on, where it's like, hey, Portal did this cool portal gun mechanic, let's just rip it straight out and put it in our game.
But yes, other than that, just as for the repetition, I did said this in my review, but you know, the game usually cycles through three things that you need to go through. So there's a puzzle, then there's a fight scene, then there's parkour, and then sometimes it mixes up so it's puzzle after parkour or things like that.
Or puzzle
And
fight.
then, yeah, or puzzle fight, and then you get things like the game turning into a third-person shooter.
Oh man, the turret segments in Darksiders 1 are so fucking bad. Because it's a game from 2008, so of course it had to have turret segments. Jesus Christ.
Thankfully, the Darksiders 2 parts are more like walking around with a minigun or something in GTA 5.
Oh man. I'm so glad that trope is dead. The fucking turret segment. Who enjoyed that shit?
Oh,
John
everyone
Rambo.
did, I'm sure.
Whoever enjoyed it is stupid. Alright, so yeah, my thing about Darksiders 2 then is like, it makes more sense for Death to do puzzles. Is it just because War is, I say it again, but War just seems like a dumbass brute. Whereas Death,
I mean,
Death is still an asshole, but Death also seems to be pretty smart.
yeah, and that becomes somewhat better, as I've said before.
Yeah, I remember him getting slightly nicer to the Giants as you do more quests for him. I definitely remember that.
Yeah, it's really hard for you not to spoil the end of the game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, going into Darksiders 3, yeah. Ugh. We can talk about that next week.
Yeah.
So, other than that, I think that's about what I've done this past week. So, let's go ahead and move on to Addy.
Right. So to start things off, I finished Horizon Zero Dawn in 12 hours.
Okay, what'd you think?
I liked it. I can see. Yeah.
I'm just going to say what I've heard from Soon is what Soon's opinion on the game was that the gameplay was amazing, the story was good until you realize like a certain theme that is applied that makes it a bit rougher.
Yeah, I was about to say, Soon's opinion of it is not bad. Like, Soon is right. It's not, like, it wasn't game breaking for me necessarily, but I could certainly notice it. So here's the problem with the game sometimes. So most, if not all, of the males that you meet are either pathetic, assholes, rapists, or a mix of the three.
Okay, yeah, that roughly surmises what Soon said about the story.
Yeah, so, for example, first you meet a guy, the first guy you meet is Tab. Well, technically you meet Ross, but Ross is the father figure, so they couldn't have made him a complete asshole, and I don't think he was.
Oh, they could have.
Well, didn't he still turn out to have some kind of dark past or something?
I don't remember that part.
Like I think he was supposed to be exiled for having been like a bandit in the past or something.
Only thing I remember is that his family was dead or something, and then he was exiled, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just assumed that he's exiled for a reason.
But yeah. So, you meet this guy Tab. Tab is pathetic as shit. You need to save him from a couple of vultures or whatever. Because if they see him, or no, it's Striders. Because if they see him, they're gonna kick him to death. And then the reason why he needs to save him is that because his stupid ass went mountain climbing. That's it. And then later you meet him, and like this is like 6 or so years after you save him, and he turns out that he actually didn't age like at all, and he's a Stitcher.
All right.
I like there's probably some differences between the character models between when you save him and when you meet him later. I just couldn't tell the difference, to be honest. Because like most of the men in the game are like the brutes, more or less. They are even Codlet, I think. Or no, Braves. They're called Braves. The men and the women who fight for their tribes are Braves.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a little bit different, Addy. Brutes is a common insult. Braves is a real-life name for, like, warriors of Native American tribes. If you say there's no difference between them, might be perceived as a racist term.
But I think of just muscly men. That drives with the brutes. But the actual term that they use in the game are Braves, so yeah.
Yeah, because there's a whole Native American thing they got going on with the tribes.
Yeah, so most of the Braves you see are, muscular or normal looking. Tab is like kind of anorexic or something, like he's really thin. Not anorexic yet, but pretty thin. Yeah, so he's the first guy you meet. He's pathetic. Then you move on to the like war sage or whatever. Oh no, then you move onto your first rival, who's an asshole. He's been an asshole since you were kids. He threw a rock at your head.
Doesn't he
And then
die
he
immediately?
dies.
Doesn't he? Yeah, I was about to say, they introduce a whole side cast there, and they just all die.
Yeah, like immediately. So then you meet the war chief, the new one, who's an asshole. Then you rescue the old war chief who's a woman, and of course she's not an asshole. Well, she's kind of an asshole actually.
I remember that game also having a thing about religion, didn't it?
What? You cut out.
Didn't the game also have something about religion or something? I don't remember if it was like...
Yeah, kind of. I didn't notice a lot of religious undertones. I did notice religious tones, just not undertones. And not necessarily things that, would be set against, real religion or whatever, real life religion.
Yeah.
But basically, your tribe, which has exiled you for no real reason in particular, well, yeah. Like, basically, yeah?
Wasn't it? Oh, shit. Was it because you were, like, supposed to be you had, like, the bad mark, didn't you?
No. It was literally just because they found you or behind a locked door where their deity was supposed to be.
Right. So they thought you were the devil for some reason.
No, they thought that you were birthed from the deity and the devil's friggin' marriage or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, as it turns out, in reality, machines, robots, science, and yeah, that's about all the religious stones that I found. Like the people think that it's deities and stuff. It's just science. That's all the religious stones that I found. And it's like none of it is worse than what you find on the internet. Zealots included.
What? Wasn't there a part, like, I swear I rented the game for a little bit, and I swear I found a text log that basically can be surmised as Bill O'Reilly caused the apocalypse. And I don't know what it is about the games we've been playing the last couple of weeks that Bill O'Reilly keeps coming up in these damn games, but...
I still don't know who Bill O'Reilly is, but whatever. I don't remember.
And that makes it better.
The whole thing of the game is that basically science is good, corporations bad, science and corporations bad as well, and that's about it.
Okay, so Lorax.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
We should just use Lorax as the automatic name we invoke for whenever a game's themes are platitudes. You know, like it's been done a million times before. Do you really think you're contributing?
But like, does anybody care if I spoil the game?
Oh fuck no! I've already had it spoiled for me, and I don't think Pink's gonna play it.
Nope.
Okay, so basically, there was this guy who made killer robots for whatever reason. Never explained, I don't think. Unless it's in a,
Jurassic Park.
unless, yeah.
Jurassic Park. That's another one we can invoke for stupid theme. Jurassic Park is also invocable for like, oh hey, we made this killer thing because we could.
But yes, so killer robots turns out kill people, and they couldn't shut them off. And they made it so decrypting their stuff would take like 60 years, and the robots eat the world. Like literally, they eat biomass.
Right,
So-
I remember hearing about that. What was supposed to be the bad thing that happens in Horizon is that the robots started eating people. Right?
No, they started eating the world. Like they started eating the ground, and making
Yeah,
it so
but
it's not
isn't it
livable.
just organic matter that they're eating?
It is.
People are
So
organic.
that would include people.
I don't know. From the one part where they actually show them eating things, they have people next to them, and they eat, instead of to eat leaves. So
Right, but they're based off dinosaurs. Some of them may be herbivores and some may be carnivores. It looked pretty
I don't
goofy seeing a T-Rex robot eat a tree. I'm not gonna lie.
but from what I remember, they don't actually eat. Like they don't actually chew the stuff. It just turns into dust, and they suck it up
Oh,
or
okay.
something like that.
All right.
So yeah.
It's like how Galactus doesn't actually eat a planet like an apple. He has to break it down first. Then he just
Sucks up the
drains
juice.
life force.
No,
Yep.
actually, the robots are working with Thanos. He just snapped half of the world, so they could eat it.
Galactus is real fucking weird when you think about it, because isn't he like it's usually depicted as him just breaking off the outside of a planet and eating the core? But several times they've said that like the planets that have people living on them have more energy, implying that Galactus is eating the people.
Yeah.
But they don't want to have Galactus eating people because Galactus is still one of the more oddly sympathetic Marvel villains. Ah,
Yep. It's a tricky situation with him.
comics are stupid.
Right. So anyway, aside from that, people worship the sun, and that's the big religion that you're gonna meet. There's other ones, like as I've said, the one in the Nora tribe where they worship Gaia, basically.
Are there any?
Gaia
Are there any obnoxious Dark Souls references?
none that I found, but I seem to remember seeing one on a video.
Because you said they worship the sun, and I was like, fuck.
Oh no, not in. No, I think there's like a bonfire somewhere. That's that looks like the Darksiders, the Dark Souls bonfire. But no, they don't make any praise the sun references to Dark Souls.
Thank God.
That would have actually been the one reference Dark Souls that I would have been fine with. But yeah. There's also this whole thing where going back to the men are pathetic assholes or rapists. Well, wannabe rapists, whatever. There isn't actually a rape scene or even implied rape in the game, from what I can tell. There's
Oh,
just
I was
people being really freaking creepy.
I was hoping not. I wouldn't imagine they'd do a rape scene, but at the same time, you never know.
David Cage. At the same time, David Cage.
David
Or whatever.
Cage! Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so you go to this there's this big city that was that's ruled by the Sun King or whatever. And then there's this other city that's ruled by a different Sun King, because the people who live in the other city, where the other Sun King is, they don't agree with the big city's ruling, so they became the Shadow Death people
Oh,
or whatever.
The anti-pope.
Yeah, and get this, for their leader, they have like a, I want to say like a 5 or 6 year old boy. That's that's their ruler, and then actually his mom does everything. So I think that's supposed to show that men choose pathetic leaders or something. I don't know. I'm just seeing things. I think because that can be a good way to joke as well. Because they break off and appoint a kid.
Well, historically, it wasn't all that uncommon for little children to be kings while the mothers did everything anyway. So
Historically, it wasn't uncommon for like a grown man to be king, but him to be either an idiot or
oh
disabled, and
yeah,
for the wife
absolutely.
for the wife to rule. A big
Yeah.
thing that people have against the latter years of Woodrow Wilson's term as American president was the fact that he had suffered a stroke, and it was pretty much his wife that was president instead.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there's that. I did think that it was funny when the kid has to stand up and like say like just to say like 2 words to say that this guy will speak instead of me, and that's all his lines
Oh
from
man,
what I could tell.
it would have been funnier if it was just like Tropic Thunder, where the kid was genuinely the ruler. Your big villain is a little kid. Yeah.
No, your big villain is some actual random root, like that a guy from that guy's army.
I heard you said brute, but I heard Groot, and I got excited for a little bit.
I heard the same thing.
Sadly, there's no tree monsters in the game. You do
So
have,
what you're saying is Warhammer is still better.
yeah. As for the gameplay, to move on to that, since I think we've discussed the story enough, I think I should start with what I disliked, just because that list I think is shorter. But a big gripe that I had with the game is that everything is locked behind what you do. So you can't tame things until you reach a certain point. Makes sense from the story. So whatever. Then you can't fast travel unless you have a certain item. Like, unless you have a certain limited item that can run out. Or you buy the golden item that can't run out.
Ooh man, limited fast travel is always a rough one.
Yeah.
The funny thing that just dawned on me, the weird thing about limited fast travel is Dark Souls, infamous shit pit of difficulty that Dark Souls is. Even Dark Souls does not limit your ability to fast travel.
But yeah, so that. Then, um, to have a mount, because mounts are actually a thing in the game, to have a mount, you have to tame one of the horse-like creatures. So the horse-like striders, the like bull-like chargers, I wanna say, and there's another one that I forgot the name of, and the animal it's based off of.
The Velociraptors?
No, you can't ride those.
Damn. You can't ride raptors?
No, you can't. I don't think.
Again, Warhammer is better than Horizon Zero Dawn. You can have cavalry that is riding velociraptors.
But so yeah, you have to tame those, which, as I've said, is locked behind progression in the story, which makes sense. But then, if you have your mount killed because mounts can die, then you have to tame another one. Makes sense still. But then to not have to go through the painful thing of actually finding a place where like horses spawn and then taming a horse and then going with it until it dies or disappears. To not have to go through that every time you don't want to freaking trek to half of the map on foot, you have to unlock the last upgrade in the freaking tree where you upgrade your taming skill. And each upgrade in that thing takes 3 skill points. So that's like 3 levels for everything. So you need to level up 9 times to actually be able to, call upon horses and not level up anything else.
Ooh. That sounds a little bit awkward. I will say, the idea
Yes.
popped into my head of what you're asking for is you want a GTA garage for all your robot horses.
No, what I'm asking for is either make it so my mount won't disappear, or despawn really. But yeah, so it either won't despawn, make it so it can't die, or make it so I can call upon it.
Give you the Red
And-
Dead Immortal horses, where if it dies, it just comes back anyways.
Yeah.
I cannot count how many times I accidentally shot my own horse in the head, back of the head, and then just whistled and the new one came out of the ether. Oh.
And it's
Like,
and
the
it's
old
like
horse
this,
turns to ashes, and then it rebirths itself like a phoenix.
It flies through the air like a phoenix on fiery wings. That part
And
may
then bursts
actually
to
be
death.
that part may
And then
actually
burst-
be an undead nightmare. I don't remember.
but yeah, so you know, neither of these would be really a problem if you wouldn't actually have the skill to call upon horses infinitely. It's just locked behind progression for whatever reason. And it's like, you know,
skill
yeah?
progression or story progression.
skill.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
But still, to me, it's annoying because, you know, like upgrading your taming so you can tame like the larger robots and shit makes sense. But, you know, you'd think that one of the first things that you would do, you know, if you were able to call upon random as horses, freaking robot horses to ride them, is that it would be one of the first things that you get. No, it's the last freaking skill that you get in the skill tree.
Because
Like,
infinite horses is just too much power for one man. It's enough for one woman though.
But like, you know, like you limit fast travel and then you limit like not even limit. You either make me freaking grind for the ability to not have to go everywhere on foot and then expect me to not have a problem with that.
Well, that's a definite free roam game problem there.
Yeah.
Hey, we need a couple extra hours of content. Why not make them grind for a little bit of shit?
So yeah, that was a problem. And then there's other things like such as fog of war that you can either, you know, actually explore to take care of, or just go to the nearest Ubisoft tower and then get rid of it with that.
I don't understand why they keep putting Fog of War in these fucking free roam games.
Me neither. It's annoying and it just makes it so you have to put your Ubisoft tower in.
Yep. God, why did Ubisoft make that, and why does everyone take it?
But yeah, so you have those. You have these things called cauldrons. Cauldrons are factories where the robots are made, and they're basically trying to sneak through a place, failing at it, and then killing everything in sight or dying, which one comes first, and then getting to the last chamber where you will face like 5 different Velociraptor robots, one big one, and then you will die continuously until you manage to somehow beat them. And for all of this, you get the ability to tame different kinds of robots, which is useful on harder levels, but well, I'm not yet at harder levels because honestly, I can't kill things with the current stuff that I have, so I'm just grinding, like going to new game plus grind on story difficulty, grinding stuff so I can try to do it on ultra hard.
But taming T-Rexes, though.
Yeah.
Why would you
What?
not go for that? Robot T-Rexes, why would you not want to tame those things?
There aren't any.
There's a robot T-Rex. It was in the very first fucking trailer.
I don't remember any robot T-Rexes. I remember. Wait.
Did you miss out on one of the major fucking boss fights of the game?
I don't remember. Maybe. Because.
Excuse me,
Like-
Addy the speed runner.
Like. I remember fighting freaking like. What can I call them? Like basically like crab robots. Like there are different crab robots, and then the one I'm talking about, because there's the shell walkers, which are actual crabs, and then there's this one that's like basically a moving turret with legs.
I remember.
So I
that-
remember.
I remember fighting that one, and I didn't get more than 5 hours into the game.
Yeah, I remember those. No, are you talking about the corruptors?
I remember those, but I also remember ones that had like big machine gun and missile launcher racks.
Deathbringer.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember fighting those. I remember fighting like freaking gigantic as birds. I remember fighting what else was during the end? Like, if I remember correctly, the last fight that I had was against Deathbringer.
Oh. Well, that's a little
Yeah,
bit less interesting than I was expecting. Because
yeah, from what
I have also fought one of those things already, so that seems kind of mundane.
or wait, was that the gigantic T-Rex? Because I remember a part where I thought it was just a Snapjaw or whatever, because there's like this gigantic Komodo dragon things. But I want to say that they move on four legs, which is why I don't think that they're T-Rexes. Then I just kind of assumed that that's what was there, because I was too busy trying not to kill or not to die, while also fighting that and then 5 different corruptors or something like that. And yeah, if you're talking about that, then I don't think that can be tamed, because you need to kill it to actually get inside where you need to be.
Damn it.
Yeah.
There's none running around in the wild?
No.
Damn it. Again, Warhammer is better.
But yeah, like the biggest biggest things that you get to tame are the Snapjaws, which I talked about, the gigantic Komodo dragon things, and then the Stormbirds, which are big hawks.
Just a big fucking bird, because why not?
Yeah. I mean, Zapdos needs to be represented.
I suppose he does. Is that about it for Horizon?
Yeah, well, for what I disliked. For what I liked, I liked that it had the stealth spin option, as useless as it was. I'm not sure how many, actual games use the stealth spin option, but it's like a thing that I like look back fondly over in Assassin's Creed, because it's just such a stupid option. Just going slightly underwater so people won't notice you in clear water.
Yeah. I get the
But
idea of
yeah.
underwater stealth, because you ever watched Apocalypse Now?
No.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, so I like that. I like the variety of weapons that you get, even if 90% of them are bows.
Ha! I remember a
Like-
slingshot.
Huh?
I remember a slingshot definitely as well.
Yeah, there are slings. Aside from bows, there are slings. There are different kinds of casters, which are, well,
They're for making
I don't know.
traps. They're for making traps. I remember that. You set up tripwire lines and things like that. That's about all
yeah,
there is.
that's just the trip caster. There's also the rope caster, which ties them down.
Yes,
and
I
then-
remember that weapon as well.
Yeah, and then after that you also have a shotgun.
Is it just a
Basically.
shotgun?
Well, really not advanced shotgun, but more or less yes.
Okay, I'd be happy to see an actual just gun. The rest is all
No.
primitive stuff, but then she gets a gun, like it's Turok.
Sadly, that's not a thing. Well, no, actually, I'm lying, because in one of the first missions, you have to remember that you get a minigun.
Yeah, I remember there being like a turret or something.
Yeah, I think that's the one time you get a minigun, or something like that. But yeah, you don't actually get like modern guns or anything like those, aside from the things that you shoot off of things.
Damn.
Because, but yeah, you can shoot off things such as laser turrets and stuff off of animals.
Right, and the Deathbringer has his huge, ridiculous missile salvos.
Yeah. So and yeah, that's about it for Horizon, I think.
All right, did you do anything else?
I don't think so.
All right, Pink.
All right. This week, I actually rewatched Doctor Strange. It remains in my top 3 Marvel movies of all time.
That one actually ages better, I think, when on rewatches.
Indeed.
Because I mean, the first rewatch, like, you get so stuck in the visuals that you don't really pay so much attention to the story, so you have to rewatch it again to pay more attention to the story.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you guys the story of when I first saw Strange in theaters, but I'll go through that now real quick. The first time I saw Doctor Strange in theaters, it was several weeks after it had already been out because I was working a lot and never had time to. And it was like just before I would start my grave shift that I do nowadays. So I like had to go to the theater like the day before because after that my schedule would be all out of whack. So I finally got to go, got to the theater, and it was basically me all by myself in the theater.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was like 4 weeks in, everybody's already seen it. Nobody's seeing Doctor Strange anymore. So I got a little front row VIP session all by myself.
Yeah.
And amusingly enough, it was actually one of the best times I've ever had at the theater.
I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your pick of the
No
seats,
loud
huh?
kids in the audience or nobody like talking during the movie. Very nice.
Kids are bad, teenagers are worse.
Indeed.
Because teenagers, they are like, they're over there thinking they're Mystery Science Theater 3000, right? Because you hear them chuckling about some stupid stoner gag they're making up about the movie, and you want to reach out and fucking punch them.
Mm-hmm.
Shut the fuck up!
Sit down and watch the movie, kid.
I have heard all kinds of bad stories from like people watching The Quiet Place, the movie that's supposed to be everybody be perfectly silent while watching it because the movie's supposed to be silent. And I've heard all kinds of horror stories about people getting phone calls, kids crying or whining, teenagers laughing.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I actually saw it in 3D as well because that's all they had at the time.
Oh man, I could not imagine. There was one scene in particular that I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to see that in 3D. The fucking tunnel scene where she puts him through the tunnels, you know, the psychedelic tunnels. That scene. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Was that one bad in 3D or?
No, it was actually a very fun experience.
Huh?
I had never seen a movie in 3D before. That was my first time. So, a lot of fun stuff happened that day. I thought it would strain my eyes too much, but it was actually not terrible.
3D nowadays is actually made very, very well.
Yeah. It's like, you could barely notice it at first, but once all the magic stuff kicks in, and especially that end credits scene, that was in 3D, and you really notice it then.
I don't remember the credits for Doctor Strange.
It's not like any like those big type scenes. It's just literally the credits and the background had like his symbols and whatnot.
Okay, so it's like psychedelic.
It wasn't anything spectacular, but it's like, oh wow, that's in 3D and it's moving. What the heck? What's going on here? I'm gonna die.
Okay, so you got your Eye of Agamotto type shit going on in the background.
Yeah.
I love the Eye of Agamotto because it seems like every new Doctor Strange thing comes up with a new reason for why Doctor Strange keeps it around and a new power for it, you know?
Yeah. So, yeah, rewatched Doctor Strange. I have downloaded a bunch of stuff that I want to get to playing sometime soon. I was originally going to be playing something earlier today, but like yesterday, my work decided that they needed me tonight, so I couldn't. Ordinarily, I would have had last night off, but I didn't, so I didn't get to do anything. So I've got a big backlog of stuff that I was going to touch, but didn't get to touch or didn't get very far in it, so it's gonna have to be reserved for next week.
Alright.
I did play a little bit of Ultimate Alliance again. That's something I will always go back to until I die. And Doctor Doom is ridiculously overpowered in Mephisto's realm.
I have not got to play any of the DLC characters yet. I've only put like 10 minutes into it after picking it up. And the most noticeable thing for me going it back to Ultimate Alliance 1 is, my god, the graphics have not aged well.
No, they're absolutely terrible. That was like back in 2007 or what when it released.
It was
like
the ass end of the PS2 and one of the earlier launch type titles for Xbox 360. I remember that.
Yes.
I remember it came out and there was the two characters that were exclusive to next gen consoles as a way of encouraging you to pick up the next gen consoles.
Yeah.
But it was Moon Knight and Colossus, so I don't know who the fuck gets sold on buying a new console for Moon Knight and Colossus. I love Colossus as much as the next guy, but not $400
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, he's not a console seller. Come on now. Could you imagine if they had put some other A-lister in there, though, as the exclusive? That would have rolled some heads back then.
Well, hey, the DLC characters pretty much were that.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I remember when it first came out, I got the game on PS2 because I was like, fuck, I don't want Moon Knight or Colossus. Then they added Hulk and Cyclops, not Cyclops. I hated Cyclops as a kid. Hulk and Nightcrawler, and I was like, shit.
Yep. It's really weird that they had Nightcrawler. I mean, I love Nightcrawler, and I love that he's a playable character, but he's also an integral part of the story, and it doesn't make sense for him to be playable.
I have heard about what Magneto does in Mephisto's realm, and that shit cracks me up. How he fucks up the story so badly. That they actually thought to do that is amazing.
Yep.
But yeah, Nightcrawler, I think Nightcrawler is there partially because we were still hot off the heels of X2, so everybody was like, yeah. Nightcrawler's the shit.
And they already would have had all his designs and whatnot. You just have to port him over, so it wasn't a big deal on their end, I imagine.
Not only did they have the model and voice already because he was recording for the game, they already had the move set because the game was just made by the same people that made X-Men Legends.
Yeah.
Or not, was it Legends?
Yeah.
Right, have you ever played X-Men Legends?
I've played X-Men Legends 2.
Okay, so you know those games are literally just Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yes. And Iron Man was in X-Men Legends 2.
Yes, Iron Man, Deadpool, Spider-Man, and someone else were like the hidden unlockables because they weren't X-Men, but they were put in the game anyways.
Yeah.
Who was the fourth one? I can't remember. It wasn't Cable, was it?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think Cable ever actually got to be in any of those games.
No. He was in Ultimate Alliance 2, but 2 sucked.
He was in
We don't
2?
talk about 2. He was.
I always remembered 2. The only new characters I remember from 2 were Iron Fist. Was She-Hulk in 2?
No.
I remember Iron Fist, Penance, and Gambit. And other than that, I thought that Ultimate Alliance 2 cut down the roster, didn't add anything.
It did, drastically. I'm thinking Cable was DLC.
Oh, yeah. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 had an unfeasible amount of DLC. Like, fucking Carnage and Juggernaut and Black Panther were all DLC.
Yeah.
And looking back, that's weird, because Black Panther should not be DLC. That is a character that should be a launch character if you're going to include him at all.
Yes. And he was already in the first one, so what happened?
Well, the thing was, I remember seeing it back in the day, they gave him a whole new moveset, because in the first game, he used his claws for everything. In the second game, he picked up a sword, and they changed his moveset to focus on the sword. So, when the fuck in the...
Everybody remembers Black Panther using a sword.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. When the fuck did Black Panther use a sword? It's like when Batman used a sword. What? I feel like that was actually a thing when Damian was Batman in some stupid alternate universe.
Probably.
Yeah. They should have kept Damian having the sword as Robin, though, because that actually makes him marginally more interesting. They did for Injustice 2, but at the same time, Injustice 2 is like, he's also Nightwing now, so what?
Yeah. That happened.
They could make Bruce force Damian to use a wood sword to not kill anyone.
He'll find a way. He's a demon.
He'll choke him to death with a sword. He'll shove it up their ass so far it goes up into their throat.
I hear Hero is good this time of year.
Ah. God. So, yeah, you went back to Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and
like I was saying about Doctor Doom, he is like a bubble shield, sort of. And in Mephisto's realm, when you're actually battling Mephisto, there comes a point where all Mephisto does is launch projectiles at you. And Doom's bubble shield reflects all projectiles. So...
I never thought about that, but don't Luke Cage and Magneto also have the same ability? Where they can just block all projectiles?
Yes, if I recall correctly, they do.
I never considered trying that. Damn.
Yeah.
Because, like, Luke is already a damn good character in that game, but...
Yeah. It's like I was basically sitting in hell for an hour just watching Mephisto bounce his little fireballs off of me. It's quite entertaining.
Yeah, it fits into character, too, because Doctor Doom fucking hates Mephisto.
Yes.
So he'd just sit there torturing him like Doctor Strange with, Dormammu.
Yeah.
Mephisto, I have come to make a deal.
Aside from that, I don't know that I did anything else this week.
All right. Well, let's see. We are sitting at a near perfect 2 hours on the dot for this recording. So I would say we're just about good.
Nice.
All right.
Rick will lengthen it so it will reach 2 hours.
Oh, no, we've already passed it. We've already passed it.
I see.
Success.
Success.
All right. So, say bye, Addy.
Bye, Eddie.
All right, we'll see you later, folks. Bye.